Hey guys, welcome back and happy new year. Oh my god, it is 2020. Like new decade. I remember when it was 1999 and everybody was freaking out. It was like Y2K. Everybody thinking the world was going to come to an end. And here we are 20 years later. Crazy. Anyway, hope everyone had a wonderful holiday, new year, all that good stuff. We are back. It is season 10 of Married at First Sight. I miss you guys. I really, really do. And I am so ready for this season to really get started. If you are new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you can come and hang out with me every time I upload a video. All right, so I am basically going to be giving you guys my first impression. I'm not going to get too deep into it because we have to wait and see what's coming down the pike. So right now, I just want to give my first impression of each individual. So let's start with Michael and Mika. All right, so Michael. Um, Michael comes off as shy and reserved, yet grounded. He comes off as a type that you may have to do a little tugging and pulling for him to open up. Um, a little backstory that he gave: he was adopted at 9 months old by his aunt, which he calls his mom, and his cousin, which he calls his sister. So a very, very small, tight knit family. Um, and with that, I was kind of thinking that because the family dynamics, maybe um, he's used to dealing with things on his own. A lot of times when people have big families, they have different people they can go to, and sometimes when it's just you and maybe a parent, or you, a parent, and a sibling, it's kind of hard to express yourself. You may hold a lot of things in. Sometimes, not all the time, but so I'm kind of wondering, just from his interaction and the interview, he just seems very what's the word I want to use? More so where if he's having issues, like he doesn't want to be a burden on anyone and doesn't want to lay all his problems or issues or whatever on a person, so he turns into yoga, meditation, and things like that. I don't know, that's just the vibe I got from him. So yeah, he seems really quiet, and I'm just wondering if that's going to cause a problem where maybe he needs to open up a bit more. He mentioned that he worked with kids with special needs, which I highly commend. Anyone that chooses to go into a field where they are helping special need kids or adults, I tip my hat off to them. So moving on to Mika. Mika seems, she's like the total opposite. She seems very bubbly, talkative, energetic, a self-proclaimed alpha female. Now, Michael seemed kind of, like I said, reserved, laid back. Doesn't mean that he can't be an alpha male, but he just seems very laid back, like he'll go with the flow. So with her being an alpha female, it may work. The only thing is, with that, Mika mentioned that growing up, she was raised by a single mother, and from the age of 10, she basically had to raise her siblings while her mom worked two jobs. And she also mentioned that along the way, meeting people, including friends and people that she dated, she tend to come across people who are needy. Um, for some reason, she just seems to gravitate towards those type of people, and she's over it. She wants someone basically on her level, she's tired of being the second mama. She's, she called herself the second mama. So she's tired of that. And so with her and Michael, I can see it working with her being outgoing and energetic and this alpha female, and him being the more laid back, cool, go with the flow, seemingly type person. It can work, but at the same time, will his laid back, reserved demeanor turn her off? Like, will she feel like, okay, here we go again. I have to take care of someone. I have to be the one to take charge and things like that. 'Cause sometimes, even though you're an alpha female, sometimes you want someone else to take charge, to call the shots, to organize and run things. I consider myself an alpha female. And yeah, you want your man, to take the reins sometimes, even though you're going to probably go behind him and change it, correct? But it is what it is, right? Um, but yeah, I actually like them together. Another thing, Michael mentioned that he like a woman that's natural, her hair, and Mika is natural. Now, although for the wedding she ended up straightening her hair, but as far as looks, I think they'll like each other. They're both not, they're attractive, they're not bad looking. They're both into fitness, so that's another plus. But yeah, I do think they're going to be attracted to each other. I do think their opposite behavior can work. I just worry that she's going to have to be the initiator when it comes to communication, and that can cause a problem. But moving right along to Zach and Mindy. Zach, Mr. Fitness, he's a cutie. He has great, I love his hair. His thing is, he's dated many beautiful women, I guess, because, he's in the fitness field. And of course, you're dealing with women who want to get in shape. So he's used to dealing with model type women. He's saying that now he wants someone with substance. Yeah, he wants to be attracted to them, but at the same time, he wants to have intellectual conversation. He wants someone who can express themselves, who is more than just skin deep, if you will. Um, he was saying that, he's one thing that he said that kind of, okay. So he says that he wants to be the type of husband that people idolize in terms of what he does for his wife and how he treats her. Now, my thing with that is, will his focus really be on his wife and marriage, or is it going to be where he's so caught up in trying to impress others? You know what I mean? Like, will his actions be sincere, or will his actions be just to get kudos and a pat on the back and a mention on IG? You know what I mean? Like, just him saying that means to me he's all about image. And when you're so focused on image and people idolizing you and trying to impress others, it can not only put pressure on you, it can put pressure on the person that you're with. Because in order for people to idolize you and worship your life and ooh and ah, I mean, when you walk in the room and you have someone on your arm, in order for them to be impressed, she got to come with a certain look, a certain behavior, a certain everything. So with him saying that, it just makes me concerned that he's gonna put pressure on Mindy or whomever he's with, but Mindy, because that's who his wife is going to be. Um, that he's gonna put pressure on her to be this person in order for him to be idolized, if that makes any sense. And you guys know I tend to ramble. But yeah, that him saying that concerns me. Now, Mindy, at first glance, she seemed older. She seemed much older, kind of dry personality, and even stoic. Like, especially when she started talking about her sister, overdosing and then finding out that she was pregnant and having a miscarriage soon after. Um, but later on, as time went on, she seemed really cool and laid back. I actually like her. I really like her. I think she could be a good match as far as substance, um, for Zach, because that's he's saying that's what he's looking for. So she seems like she can have fun, but at the same time be serious and about her business. My only thing is, will Zach be attracted to her? Not that I don't think she's cute, because she's cute, but he's so used to, these beautiful women, as he say. So I'm assuming model like, probably, fake big boobs, whatever. Will her coming to the table with intellectual conversation and having her own mind, her own opinion, will that be enough for him, especially since he's all about image and wants to be idolized? Like, will that be enough for him? Or maybe he will be attracted to her. Who knows. Now on to Brandon and Taylor. Taylor, very pretty, hard worker. I mean, the girl has 3 jobs. Okay, that's a hard worker. She wants to get her PhD, and she also mentioned that she travels a lot. Now, my thing with her is she has so much going on that I wouldn't think she would want to settle down with the husband right now, but more so, date, like have maybe 2 or possibly 3, guys that she rotates, she dates whenever she has time and whenever they have time, because she seems so busy. So it's like, I don't know, it just seems where she is in life, I just kind of hard for me to imagine that she would want a husband, because my thing is, at some point her husband is going to want to spend time with his wife at home. So between your 3 jobs and you hosting, and then traveling, not that he can't travel with her, but if that's part of one of her jobs, I think with the bourbon brand, I think she said she does hosting, like gigs for bourbon and for some bourbon company, and she does traveling. So he may not be able to travel with her because of his job. So I just kind of see that can possibly be an issue. It's just, to me, seem like she would might want to date, versus settling down with her seemingly busy schedule. Brandon's a cute. I think they actually like brother and sister to me. I think they make a really cute couple. He's given me very strong feminine vibes. um, Especially like when the guys met up. He When Derek walked in, Brandon looked like he wanted to just run up to Brandon and to Derek and just wrap himself around him. Like he just had this. I don't know. He just kind of lit up when Derek walked in. Um, And then the whole shirtless Candy Crush vest that he had on didn't help either. Brandon just gives me very feminine vibes. Now, mind you, he was raised by a village of women. Okay, his dad, I think he said he hadn't seen his dad since he was 13, even though he does live in the area. So he was raised by a bunch of women. And sometimes when men are raised by nothing but women, they tend to take on a little feminine uh, personality, or ways about them. So I'm not necessarily saying that he's gay or he's bisexual. He did mention that he was open sexually. He was into S&M, So that doesn't mean anything. I just threw that out there. But yeah, he just gives me, very feminine vibes. Now, as far as him and Taylor working, um I think they may be okay. I can't really say, like, some of them I can kind of be like, I don't know, yeah, it may work out, it may not. With them, as far as looks, I think they will find each other attractive. Again, she seems very, very busy, and I think that may end up causing a problem, when he wants to spend time with his wife. Moving on. All right, so Austin and Jessica. Austin is a self proclaimed mama's boy. I mean, a serious card carrying mama's boy. Basically, if mama doesn't approve, it's not happening. When he said that he doesn't know why he's single, I was just thinking, like, perhaps it's because your mom is all up in your business, including love life. Like, a lot of women don't want to deal with a mama's boy. But overall, he seems really sweet though. He really does. We'll see how involved his mom is, because that can really cause a problem in relationships when mom doesn't want to let go and she's constantly interjecting herself. Jessica Jessica has a twin sister who's married, and she did admit that it is pressure, which I can imagine. I mean, even without being a twin, when your siblings are married and have kids or buy a house or whatever the case may be, graduate from college, it puts a lot of pressure on the other siblings. So just imagine all of that, and you have an identical twin. Naturally, people are going to be like, okay, what's going on with you? Like, why she can find somebody, you can't find anybody, so I can just imagine. um But she seemed really sweet though. I like Jessica. She's Amazon. I think she's like what, 5'11". So, she's a big girl. She's really tall, but she seems really nice. I think her and Austin make a great match. Well, I don't want to say great. I think they make a good match. They seem compatible. They both seem quirky, down to earth. Um, may have the same sense of humor. I know he was saying how, he likes to give gifts. That he considers, funny. He was talking about his sense of humor, and she seem to have the same sense of humor. So I don't know. It's like there's nothing. I don't want to call them plain Janes, but there's like nothing. It's not like you have one that's energetic and one that's kind of laid back. Like they both seem to be on the same level as far as energy. That's yeah, energy and looks, I would say. So I like them together. Also, she just seemed really down to earth. Like I don't get that his mom, like I don't know how deep involved his mom is gonna be, but Jessica doesn't seem like the type to be easily bothered by that. I don't think, and plus she seems like the type that his mom would like. So yeah, I actually like them together. All right, so I saved the couple that I have the most to say about last, and that is Derek and Katie. All right, so Derek, Mr. Pretty Boy. I call him Pretty Boy. He's cute. He's very, very cute. He reminds me of Ashton Kutcher a little bit. Um, but anyway, so he said, he hasn't been in a relationship in 2 years, and that he hasn't found anyone that he really even wants to date. Now, when he said that, because usually, okay, if you haven't been in a relationship for 2 years, you have at least dated. But he's saying he hasn't even found anyone that he really wants to date. So then, of course, my question is, I mean, what have you been doing all this time? Friends with benefits? Like, he's a man, okay? So what have you been doing for 2 years that you haven't even, uh, you know, found anyone that you want to at least date? But anyway, so he said that he has gotten really picky over, I guess, the 2 years that he's been by himself. Um, that could be a little issue because now that I guess he had a lot of time to, write down what he wants or think about what he wants. And a lot of times that can lead to high expectations or unrealistic expectations. So that can be a concern because you have pictured this ideal, perfect, whatever woman in your head and you're marrying a stranger, you know? And so I just hope that um his expectations aren't so high that he's disappointed when he see Katie. Now, Miss Katie. Katie. Y'all, listen. I don't like Katie. First impression, in the beginning she came off sweet. I actually had sympathy for her because when she talked about how, she was ready to settle down, even though I think she's 25, and she talked about her condition, she has type 1 diabetes, and she was saying how she wanted to get started early having kids because when you're diabetic, it's your pregnancy, you're high risk. You're considered high risk pregnancy, and it can be very, very difficult. So we all know the older you get, even if you don't have diabetes, the older you get and trying to have kids, the higher risk you are. So just add diabetes on to that. So when she mentioned that and they showed her, giving herself an injection, I felt for her and I was like, oh, okay. But as time went on, Miss Katie, her a whole different side came out. I can't even count how many times she cried. And this whole ex boyfriend situation is just blowing me. And it's funny because usually you don't start seeing the mess until sometimes the honeymoon or shortly thereafter. Now, for those of you who have been hanging with me last season of Married at First Sight, y'all already know how I feel about coming into a situation, bringing your mess. Now, mind you, no one's perfect. We all have our own baggage or whatever. But the fact that she was still involved with this guy while applying to be on this show is just foul. Okay. Now, just from what I gathered, just from what she has said in this episode alone, and her mom admitted as well. So her and her mom were saying that the guy she was dating, he basically wasn't about anything. He was playing with her feelings. He was kind of dragging her along. He wasn't ready to commit. He told her he wasn't ready to commit, and basically, she felt like she was wasting her time. Okay, which is fine. If you feel like someone's wasting your time, by all means, roll out. So, in my opinion, what I think happened is happening. I feel like she wanted this guy to commit. He wasn't ready. They're going back and forth. And I feel like she applied for this show as a way of getting attention from him. Kind of pretty much that was her way of giving him an ultimatum. And the reason why I say that is because number one, you applied for this show while you were with this dude. They broke up, okay? So when she said that he called her right before she came on the show, my thing is, how the hell does he even know that you applied for this show? How does he even know that you are on your way to be a part of this show? If y'all had broken up, obviously you're still talking to him if he knew all of this, right? That's one thing. So then when she gets with Mika and Mindy, I believe it was, at the bachelorette party, and she's tipsy, she's emotional, and she's like, let me ask you something, what would you guys think? And she's telling them, my ex-boyfriend contacted me right before I came on the show, and telling me he loved me, he want to work things out, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, it was so funny because they were looking at her like, girl, what? Because when you think about it, it's like, how far removed are you from this ex that he is calling you right before you go on the show talking about working things out? Okay, that's, if I were them, that's what I would have been thinking. All right. And I think she said, did she say it was like 2 months? I can't remember. I'm not saying, I don't know if she said they had been broken up for 2 months, but even, okay, so let's just say it was 2 months. How does he know you were coming on this show? And the fact that he called you right before. So again, I think she did all of that thinking that, trying to call his bluff and think like, okay, if he know I'm coming on this show, he's gonna beg for me to come back. And with her telling the girls, to me, it was almost like she was low key bragging, like, oh yeah, my ex called me and professed his love for me and all of this. Then on top of all of that, she's now contemplating not going through with the wedding because she's confused about her feelings. And that just made me mad because I'm like, someone else could have taken your spot on this show. And again, if you knew you were not totally done with this situation, which obviously she wasn't, because her applying for this show, they were still going through whatever they were going through. Um, it's like, are you really going to be open to accepting Derek or anyone as your husband because you're still emotionally tied to this ex? So I just didn't like that. I'm not crazy about her. She just comes off as just, I don't know. But I'm not crazy about Katie at this point. Now, I do think on the wedding day, because I'm assuming she went through with it, I think once she sees Derek, because Derek is attractive, I think once she see Derek, I think she will calm down just from the way he looks, period. I think she'll calm down. However, I do think she's going to bring up her ex. Why, I don't know. I don't know if she'll bring him up to let Derek know that, hey, I'm not some crazy, lonely, whatever. Like, somebody did want me, but I chose I don't know. But I do think she's going to bring up the ex, if just for attention alone. And that may cause a problem because if she's really, really caught up on her ex and she's going to be crying and going to be talking about him, it's going to cause problems. Because Derek is, he's going to be looking for, hey, I'm looking forward to starting our life together, being married. I don't want to hear about your ex. So I'm hoping that she sees Derek, she likes what she see, he likes what he see, and they can work things out. And she's not bringing her ex into her new marriage. But right now, I am not feeling Miss Katie. I'm not feeling her at all. But anyway, guys, so that is it. That is my first impressions on everyone. Um, of course, as time go on, we'll get a little more deep into it. But I want to know what you guys think, just from first impressions. Of course, we'll learn, more stuff as time go on, as far as we'll talk more about their families and how their families reacted when they told them. But this review, I just wanted to get into um, first impressions. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about each person. And until next time, take care.